Moving to the next and the last topic regarding the UPSC's new rule for appointment of DGP. Basically, we would have heard in news a lot of time that states are not actually appointing DGPs, rather appointing something known as acting DGP. For example, Tamil Nadu again skipped the full-time DGP and names acting DGP in defiance of the Supreme Court ruling. So what is the Supreme Court ruling that talks about appointment of process of appointment of DGP, and what is the role of UPSC in that? I mean, they have already selected IPS officer. Now what role do they want regarding who is selected as the DGP of a state or not? It is actually a long history. There is a background to it, that in the year 2006 a judgment was passed which came to be known as Prakash Singh versus Union of India. Who is this Prakash Singh guy? Prakash Singh ji is actually a very honorable former DGP. He was a DGP of not one but two states. He was a DGP of Uttar Pradesh as well as Assam, and he filed a petition in the year 1996 when most of us were not even born, regarding the need of police reforms in our country. What kind of police reform he was seeking? He was a person who was already an IPS. He has served as a DGP, so he knew that there is a lot of political interference that happen with regard to where the ministries or the chief ministers or other minister, they pressurize the IPS officer as well as other police officer to do certain works which may not really be legal, and then they transfer those officers who do not understand their terms, they transfer them very arbitrarily. This impact the law and order situation as well as the public trust on the police. It reduces the social capital of the police. So he wanted police reforms in terms of appointment process of DGP. He wanted a security of tenure, and in that petition Supreme Court gave this judgment that there must be a transparent process of appointment of DGP in states. How the state should be appointing DGP? First of all, DGP is the highest ranking police officer of a state. It starts from the constable. If you become an IPS officer, you would be first appointed to the rank of ASP, which is not additional superintendent of police but assistant superintendent of police. You start as an IPS here, right? And from that you become ASP, you become SP, you become DG, DIG, then you become IGP, then you become ADGP or additional DGP, and then you get the rank of DGP. It is basically a rank. That person may be given also the post of DGP as well, which is Director General of the Police, but may also be given other posts also. For example, he could be made a Chief of Election Enforcement Directorate or a Chief of any other armed forces. They are same officer of the rank of DGP, which require at least 30 years of service in the IPS. That is the law. Now what Supreme Court gave in this judgment, that if any state want to appoint somebody as the DGP of the state, they must do one thing, that they should create a panel of all the officers that they have in their state who have crossed this 30 years criteria of service, and all of them are eligible to be appointed as DGP, but only one person can be the DGP. Then who should be that person? You should actually send that panel, the name of those 10, 15, how many person that you have, to UPSC again, and they would check the antecedent of that person, whether that person is morally right or not, whether he has any cases pending against him or something. And then out of this panel that the state government would send them, UPSC would again go send back this panel of 3 persons. UPSC would shorten this list, shortlist this panel, and send back to the state name of 3 persons who would be eligible to be appointed as DGP. So A, B, C, 3 persons name UPSC would recommend from amongst the panel, then the person who would have been given to UPSC itself. For example, this A, B, C, D, E, F, G were the people who were recommended by the state government to UPSC. Now UPSC would give this A, B, C name, only these 3 names, out of which state is free to select whether they want C, B or A as the DGP. Let's say they have selected C as the DGP, so that is legally fine. But states are not even doing that. Why? States are actually delaying this whole process. They do not want this process of going through the UPSC, because it is a norm set by UPSC, it is a norm set by Supreme Court itself in this Prakash Singh judgment. They cannot actually violate it also. So what mechanism they have undergone? They are actually not appointing any person as the DGP itself, because for appointing a DGP you need to seek permission from UPSC. They should tell you. But they are actually doing what? They are promoting a DGP. They are promoting acting DGP and giving him all the powers by just using it as a shortcut, not going through the route of UPSC. They are going through the acting DGP route. And UPSC as well as Supreme Court has come down heavily on the state on this. And this is basically the provision of the recent rules that UPSC has passed, that states must send the proposal to UPSC for empanelment of DGP. That was already there. The proposal must be sent at least 3 months before the retirement of the incumbent DGP. If somebody DGP is about to retire, state must send panel, name of those panel 3 months before his retirement, so that if the last moment has come and you have not still sent the person's name, you would be of course appointing the acting DGP. And if there is some delay on the part of state, if the state are not able to send the names of the panel of the names to the UPSC, then they must take permission from Supreme Court, because UPSC as a body cannot condone the idea that there could be delay in this appointment of DGP. There should be no process of acting DGP. There should be no concept of acting DGP as per the Supreme Court ruling, right? So they now want, if there is any delay that is happening, delay could be happening for any reason. For example, there is a death of DGP who is already sitting there, or there is a resignation, there is a premature relieving from the office. If anything such thing happen, the state must seek the permission from the Supreme Court, and then after that they must give the panel name to the UPSC, but do not take the route of acting DGP process, which is actually circumventing the process that was established by Supreme Court in the Prakash Singh judgment, right? So this is basically the new law of appointment of DGP. But Prakash Singh judgment is not really about the DGP only. It is about police reform itself. Police are direly in the need of reform. They are having fatigue because of overwork and fat due to excessive corruption. So there are problems on both the sides. So Prakash Singh judgment, under this Prakash Singh judgment, Supreme Court gave certain guidelines that there must be establishment of a state security commission, which would actually involve members of civil society also, which would acting as a body, oversight body over police functioning. If there are any torture being happening under the police custody, police torture is happening, or there must be separation of investigation and law and order, so that there is a separation of power. If the same body is investigating law and order, the same body is enforcing law and order, and same body is investigating, then there are chances of collusion between them. They want a state police complaint authority. There must be a police establishment board. Basically, this is the board that they are talking about regarding the transfer. The transfer should not be done generally by the CM on the advice of Council of Ministers. Rather, it should go through an independent body which is known as the State Police Establishment Board, which would seek the transfer, posting and promotion of police officer, reducing direct political interference in personal decision. This would give security of tenure to the people. As they said regarding DGP appointment, there must be empanelment, and empanelment should be of those officers who have at least 2 years of tenure remaining. It should not be that they are very near to the retirement age of 60 and now you are sending their name. There must be security of tenure so that they can actually take a lot of positive reform in the state. For example, in the recent times, we saw the DGP of Haryana, Mr. O.P. Singh. He was widely remarked across the state for improving law and order situation in the very short tenure that he had of 3 to 4 months. Had he been given 2 years tenure as per the Prakash Singh judgment, he could have done wonders for the state of Haryana. So for increasing the fixed tenure for the senior police officer, for enhancing the autonomy of the police force, they suggested for creation of police establishment board and using the norm of DGP empanelment process for appointment of these DGPs. So this is police reform for you. This was about in this session of analysis. Thank you.